It's showtime. Hello and welcome. Oh, just in case you see the top of my t-shirt there, I probably should explain it. It's basically animals wearing t-shirts. It's not a t-shirt that's really been tested on animals. That was just a joke. Welcome to the Midday Show. Hello, I'm Neil Long. Really good to be here. Oh, I've got a fantastic and exciting guest coming up for you today, and an interesting tagline. New age nonsense or profound breakthrough. We're going to be asking some really interesting questions today about some really interesting subjects, namely the subject of healing and physical well-being and what it takes to achieve more of that. I've got an amazing, incredible spiritual friend, lady, coming on, and I think you're going to be impressed with her, because I certainly was when we met by a series of coincidences, as these best things do happen, a few years back now. I haven't called up for a while, so it'd be nice to catch up with her. So I'm just waiting for her to jump in the green room, and then I will jump on air with her. I'm going to ask her all these questions. So welcome to the show. Lovely day today, isn't it? It got a bit dodgy yesterday, didn't it? But it's gorgeous over the weekend. I was away for the weekend, actually. It was just lovely. And I missed the Northern Lights, I'm embarrassed to say. Ask me why I missed the Northern Lights. Why did you miss the Northern Lights, Neil? Because I was in Wetherspoons. Thank you to Liz for filling in on Monday. I had to pick Liz up from the airport, and I was just incapable of doing anything on Monday. And literally, I had to say to Liz, "Do you mind doing the show?" And because she's a fellow broadcaster and fellow professional, she did it very well. So thank you, Liz, for filling in, and you did a fantastic job. And I'll say it in public. Russ asked me to tell you that you did a fantastic job as well, and he texted me and told me to tell you that, and I've just said it in public. So well and truly shouting you out, Liz. And thank you. Nice to be barracked by Graham, who's got nothing better to do than barrack the local presenter. But I think I kind of miss it if he didn't. And you're going to have some fun with this, Graham, because I know you're skeptical of these kind of things. We're going to split it into two camps today. There's going to be the Mulders and there's going to be the Scullys. The believing Mulder and the disbelieving Scully is going to message my guest just to tell her we are here and going. A link above, because she told me something the other day. She said, I've discovered this amazing new thing. And she's always been kind of on the leading edge, kind of pioneering, kind of looking for new things. And I know when we hear new things, it can challenge what we believe is possible, can't it? But sometimes, maybe for our own good, we need challenging into what we believe is possible. Because otherwise we kind of get stuck in ruts and ways of doing things, where there might be easier ways, there might be better ways, there might be more fun ways of doing things. There might be better ways to be, better things to use, better ways to live, not in the sense that you're doing something wrong in any way at the moment, but there just might be a more evolved version, a better version, a more streamlined version, as I say, a more fun version. There's maybe more possibilities than we've considered. And that's the ethos of today. So just waiting for Anita, that's her name, to turn up, and I'm really looking forward to talking to her. In the meantime, comments, please. Comments and chat. If you want me to say hello to you, we can do some shout-outs. I've just been barracked by Graham so far, so I think I can do a bit better than that. So who else have we got watching? Because it'd be really, really nice to speak to you and say hello. And we're just waiting for Anita. I'll see if she's picked up that message yet. She has. Got about 18 windows open at the moment, so I think she's going to be in the green room soon. She can help herself to croissants, virtual croissants, of course, and then we will talk to her. Really looking forward to this, because I'm probably going to side with the believing Mulder here rather than the skeptical Scully. I think I'm going to go that way, but I will ask questions from both points of view, because most of the skeptical things that you will almost definitely think when you listen to this, I've probably thought myself at certain points in my journey. I thought that's nonsense. It's just another gimmick. It's just another, new age rubbish or whatever. But then, of course, something comes along, and it's very easy to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and it's worth listening to. But let's bring on our guest. So please go wild, go crazy, and welcome to the show, the lovely Anita Wisdom. Hello.
Hello. Is that crazy and loud enough for you, Neil? Hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here and talk to you about this very important topic today.
It is fantastic to see you, first of all. It's been a while since I saw you in the flesh. How are you?
I'm brilliant, actually. Thank you. How are you? I like the way you're seeing you in the flesh. It's like, should we just clarify that, Neil? I'm just joking.
It's a figure of speech. I think the last time I saw you, you came around to my house for dinner. No more, I point out.
You showed me your decks.
I think that's probably what needs clarifying.
Do you know?
What I do, I invite women around to my house and say, "Do you want to see my decks, baby?" Because that's just how I roll. And were you impressed with the size of my decks?
I think you were just setting up this that you're doing now, which is really important because your voice is your gift to the world, isn't it, Neil? So, yes, I was very impressed with your decks.
Thank you very much indeed. You can come round and play with my decks anytime you like. Right, have we done enough double meanings now?
Laughter is the best medicine. We know this, don't we? Laughter
we do.
is the best medicine.
We do. Tell us a bit about yourself, because we met. I'd done a gig at a place called the Kingston Lodge Hotel the night before, and I'd had a drink that night, and I couldn't be bothered to take the gear home, and I couldn't have driven anyway. So I came back the next morning to collect it, and you were in a networking meeting which they were holding there, and we just got talking, and that's kind of how we met all those years ago, wasn't it?
It was. And I've been in the healing arts, for want of a better word, for about 20 odd years. And so maybe for about 15 years when we met. And I was just helping people overcome their emotional baggage through my own journey. So everything that I learned, I mastered on myself, used on myself, transformed myself, and then used to help others with it. So we met. And I think I already had you in my phone, didn't I? So we must have met before then or something.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well,
that was weird, actually, yeah.
Really, really weird. So I think you're meant to meet people that you're meant to meet and have a chat with for whatever reason. And I think that is all kind of taken in hand through coincidence. So yeah, because had you not have left your thing there, we wouldn't have got chatting, and then we had some interesting conversations, didn't we? Yeah, synchronicity. That's it.
Yeah, very much so.
I'm trying not to woo, Neil, for you and your guests.
No, actually, I want you to be. I actually want you to be, because we do talk about mental well-being a lot, particularly on the Wednesday edition of the Midday show, and this all fits into that. And because things are changing, what would have seemed woo-woo now? I mean, when was the book Emotional Intelligence written? Daniel Goleman, I think it was, wasn't it? And before that, we just worship the intellect, and there's nothing wrong with intellect. But what these books are saying, there's more to us. We're multi-dimensional beings. So tell us about some of the disciplines that you used over the years, like the emotion code. I remember Bradley
Nelson. So my whole journey. So just to put things in context, I was attacked and strangled, guys, and whilst holding my baby. And so I had to heal from that very traumatic experience. So that kind of led me on a journey. And so the first thing that I did, because I really, really wanted to heal myself, which kind of makes me qualified to be able to kind of speak on these topics, because my nervous system was up the spout, like seriously.
Shot to pieces, I would have thought, yeah.
Shot to pieces. And I found life a bit difficult after that. And I was bringing up 2 children. One of them was a baby. So I first got into emotional freedom technique, EFT, fantastic discipline. Oh my goodness. So I used it on myself. It took me, and then I qualified in it, and it took me ages to gather up the courage to then use it on other people, on clients per se. I mean, it took me about a year to feel confident enough. But so fast forward. So emotional freedom technique, Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. Reiki is when I felt like I really came home, because I knew that there was this love and this energy and this possibility available in the world, but I hadn't encountered it until then. So that was Reiki.
And when you experience Reiki, because we've heard about this love in the world, if you like, whatever name you want to give it, this energy, source energy. Some people would say God. That's fair enough. That's a very loaded word for me. I kind of like it non-denominational, if you know what I mean, and universal, if you like. So it embraces everyone. And includes everyone, which some belief systems want not to do at times, but I don't want to get into that. But so what was your experience? You felt it palpably? Tell me.
So when you do Reiki, so I think it was like at that time, Reiki 1 and 2, and we were all in a room and you got these attunements, and then we practiced. And my favorite form of Reiki, so there's lots of different symbols and things, and it's an energetic process, if you like. But I remember putting my hands on somebody, we were instructed to just bring coloured light through, and then when you got something that fit, their symptom would clear up. I mean, seriously. So I was working on somebody that had.
So you had to bring in different shades of light until you found the right one?
Yeah, I mean, there was lots. So you had the Reiki attunements, and I didn't experience much. I didn't have any wow moments or epiphanies. But what I remember from there, I mean, we're talking about 25 years ago now. What I remember from then is when I had my hands and I was bringing these light frequencies through, I could hear the tone of this light. So we were told, yeah, you can bring all these different coloured lights, and then you'll know which one to use. And I could hear the tone, and I was like, I can hear the vibration of this frequency. Anyway, that person that had 90% deafness cleared up by 65%. In that one session. And I was just like, wow, there's something in this. And so after the weekend, so during the weekend, you did a lot of these practicing of all these different, but Rainbow Reiki, that was called, and that was one of my favorites. And it just, the teacher walked in and was just silent. And one by one, we all became silent because of the energy. This teacher didn't say a word. And shut the whole lot up. And I thought, I'd like to be able to do that. I literally remember that. I thought I would like to be such a presence that people just respond to my energy without me having to say a word. And so it was, I think the love that I experienced was you channel light from above through the hands and out the hands. And I don't remember too much, Neil, because it was such a long time ago. But I just remember thinking, I've come home. I knew that there was something that could heal. I knew that there was a higher dimension, if you like, that was all about benevolence and beauty and love. And it just made sense to me. My whole life made sense to me after that weekend.
And that helped you heal from, obviously,
so
that
actually, when I think about it in my timeline, that was before that trauma. Actually, I did the Reiki healing course, felt like I could come home, and then everything went to pot after that. In as much as it was after that incident that after the Reiki that incident happened, and that's when I was like, right, okay. And that's when I leaned towards emotional freedom technique, because you can do Reiki on yourself. It's quite nice with another practitioner. And that's when I got into all the emotional side of things, because you can imagine my emotions were shot to pieces. And so
I would imagine you're very easily triggered as well, because if our nervous system is in fight or flight, and constantly on edge, the slightest thing can make it feel like the whole trauma is happening again. It's almost PTSD, isn't it?
It wasn't so much that, and I'll go on to how I literally had to relive that to release it a few years down the line. It was just like your emotions are shot. You've got so much to cope with, and your nervous system's on fight and flight, and therefore everything starts to break down over a period of time unless you address it. So I learned to breathe, to meditate, to sleep, release the emotions through various modalities. But one thing, because I was on a quest then, I was like, I want to know who I am and the source of that divine love. And I did a yoga weekend. It was called Shimsang. It was an energetic weekend where you worked on your body. And it was after that, well, it was during one of those exercises. It wasn't that particular weekend, but during the exercise, you had to do something called Sleeping Tiger. And this is like like Eye of the Tiger, the Rocky song, you can keep going, you can keep going. So they put you in these positions and you channeled energy through the body, and you were in like awkward positions that your arms were shaking, your legs were shaking, and your mind was going, I want to give up. And they're saying, don't give up, hold it. And you did. So one of these positions, we were all quite quiet and everybody was lying on the floor and we're all breathing energy. And I felt this panic arise in my body. Okay. And the teachers are just silently walking around amongst people. And this was just in a regular, like a yoga class, but it was the relaxation part of it. And I felt this energy arise in my body, and this energy, and I thought, I'm going to have a panic attack. It felt like that. Then I thought, I'm going to die. And I thought, I can't say or do anything. I can't get up. I can't do anything.
That's what panic attacks feel like, yeah.
I had to experience it, and it left my body, and that was the stress leaving my body. It was, that was my healing point, I think, the thing that actually got me over that keep being triggered point with it.
Because they say that our unconscious, to try and protect us, will store things until it's ready to come up. And you obviously had wisely chosen to address it. So maybe that was the time when you were in a position strong enough to deal with it, rather than it protecting you. It said, okay, I can let this go through you now without re-traumatizing you too much, maybe along those lines. Because the unconscious mind, our deeper mind, its first priority is survival and to protect us, isn't it?
It is. And also, I think I was in a safe environment because it was a healing environment. It was a nurturing environment. And I had no idea this was going to come up, Neil. And yet we were breathing, and it was the circumstance where I couldn't get up and run away. Now, isn't that interesting? I could not. A lot of us as coping mechanisms, excuse me, we turn to food, drink, sex, whatever addiction it is in order
to run away.
I couldn't run away in that situation. I was there, and it was like I was looking, I was conscious of this panic arising, and I thought, oh my God, I can't get up and walk out. And that was, I believe it was being in that situation, in that safe space, that, my body just thought, right, time to release all this stress. And it did. It did.
And how did you feel after that? Was it so much lighter, maybe?
Yeah, because it passed through the system, and then it was like, I'm still alive, and then calm and peace.
So behind all that trauma, behind it all is ultimately our default state, which is peace. Right?
Yeah. Your natural state of being is actually pure joy. Seriously, I went on to experience that love, that you're just driving down the road and you love everybody, and that nirvana feeling. I experienced that state. I had that for weeks with not one thought in my head. So I know that I've done the work, did the inner work. That's not an everyday experience for me, but I did get there, and I did live there for a while. And then life takes over. But, we hold trauma, and we have the capacity to self-regulate if we befriended our feelings, Neil. If we allow ourselves to feel everything without the mind coming in with its judgment, and we just say it's just a feeling. It is.
Yeah, we talk about this an awful lot. I go to a regular call once a week with another fantastic teacher like yourself, a chap called Nick Bro, and his partner channels as well. So you can imagine it's quite potent, and it's like a Zoom call, but I see 10 years come off people while I'm watching what could be pretty much referred to as a miracle, just sitting here in my room, excuse me, on Zoom, of all things. And I've seen it, and I've experienced it, and even just being in that energy, even when we're all over the world remotely, it's still, excuse me, a really powerful experience. And they say, give everything a place at the table, even the wounded bits. Love the wounded versions of yourselves. Don't try and push them away. Bring them to the table, embrace them in the greater light, and then they will feel that they've delivered the message they were there to deliver, and then they can move on. But when you try and push them away, or drink them away, or bonk them away, or whatever you're trying to do, it just doesn't work. Not that there's anything intrinsically wrong with drinking or bonking, but just not to minimize your feelings. In my humble opinion.
Most people don't befriend their feelings. They're scared of themselves.
Right.
And yet on the other side of that is your power, and it's your potency. And it's, I don't really like the word power, because that can be seen as, more powerful, and something's less than, but that's where you are. You are
you're talking about personal power. You're talking about your personal power, your personal sovereignty, your personal ownership, your mastery. Or mistresy, not power over other people, to make that distinction.
Your own self-empowerment. That's why a lot of the, a lot of the coaches are self-empowerment coaches. You are already it. You just weren't told it, and you weren't shown how to get there. And I do think that everybody has to be on their own journey now, Neil. These days of gurus and almost like giving your power away to some deity, to something, anything outside of yourself. I actually do believe that time is over. It is now the individual, and the only way that you're going to get there, if you have any kind of trauma or any sense of non-self, should we say non-peace, or what have you, is by going within. You have to go within. You have to befriend yourself. It doesn't exist outside of you. And I think we're there in as a collective consciousness. We're at that point now. Whereas before it would be, no, I'm going to my ashram and I'll do my chants with my guru, and then you come home and you're all whatever. I don't think that works anymore. It's up to the individual.
I remember this saying, this sums it up quite nicely. This is from Alan Cohen, one of my favorite teachers. First we were fine, then we were defined, and now we're becoming refined. And if you read that over and over, there's so many nuances of meaning in there. I really like that phrase, and I think that sums it up quite nicely. But one of the reasons, sorry about coffee, I invited you on today. You've made this amazing new discovery, right? And I'm gonna put this banner on because I'm going to ask from both sides. I was talking about before you came on the believing Mulder, to use an X-Files analogy, or the disbelieving Scully. Okay, and I think I'm going to go on the Mulder side here, but for the benefit of those watching, I'm going to ask both sides because I would have in previous years. But I think you're onto something here personally. So tell us all about this.
Do you know, I wasn't looking for this, Neil, but you know, like that healing journey that I described to you, I'd always bring light down. I'd bring light down in through the cells. And even when I've got a relaxation video, whatever I'm doing, for some reason, I'd always bring the light down. So I knew that the light was really important. So a friend of mine contacts me 5 months ago. She said, Nita, there's this product and it heals with your own light. And I was like, what? I said, I'm not looking for anything. She said, well, look, just take a look at this. And that caught my attention, healing with light. And I thought, I've got to have a look at this. Anyway, this isn't a new product. This was available in the States 20 odd years ago, but not with, there's been something invented that stimulates your stem cells, but it was the whole concept of your body healing itself, which I always knew it did, given the right conditions.
Yes.
So a friend said, I'll send you some of these patches. I was like, well, what do I do? She just stick them on your body for 12 hours and then you just bin it. And I was like, what? And you drink loads of water. So anyway, I was going on holiday with another friend. So I took them with me. Now, I didn't really intrinsically have anything wrong, apart from I'm 60 this year. Happy birthday. Thank you. September. Well, my birthday's around the time of yours. Yes.
Well, if you need a DJ for a party.
There we go. So anyway, so I thought, right, okay, I'll take him on holiday with me. I was just going away. And I said to my friend that I was with, I said, oh, put one of these on. I'm going to try it. Apparently it does this, this and this. And I didn't do a lot of research. I didn't have a lot of time. So my friend came back the next day, and she said, I slept better. And she said, and my back pains disappeared. I said, you're joking. I said, look, have another one. So I hadn't experienced anything, but my friend was experiencing this. So when I got home from holiday, I thought, right, okay, I'm going to put these on. Over the course of 4 months, what's happened to me? So what was the first thing? I had a burst of energy. So the first month I felt nothing. I was putting this patch on every day and I was taking it off at night. And after about a month, I noticed that that 4 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. energy slump would go. Yeah, that one where you reach for the coffee, the sugar, or anything just to get you through till 6 o'clock.
Or the sofa, yeah.
Yeah. So that went. Then I noticed I kind of had this, like little ailments, but they're not big enough to kind of do anything about. I had this ear block and I knew that I had something wrong with the ear. Then one day it just popped and there was a bit of wax and that cleared up. Then then I was sleeping better. And then what I noticed is on my left leg, I used to live in Australia and I had a little mole removed. I just went into the doctors, as you do, said, oh, I'll whip that off now and we'll send it off to testing. And I was like, what? And she put a few stitches there, but it kind of put this varicose vein in my leg. And I was conscious of it year on year, thinking, oh, it doesn't, it's a bit unsightly. It doesn't hurt, but I'm noticing it. Well, that started clearing up. And I was like, what? I'm not even conscious of this varicose vein on my leg. Now, this is about 4 months down the line. And then my skin looks like it's getting up. I am a sun worshipper, but my skin looked a bit more luminescent. I thought, I'm sure my skin is de-aging. So decreasing in age. So all of these things. Now, you don't know a product until you've used it. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, as they say. So I've had these things happen in my body thinking, Wow. And it's working at cellular level from inside out. So those are my own experiences. Then I was like, patches, I've got friends on them, clients on them. And one of the girls has said brain fog has gone. The other girl said my hair is thickening up. The other one said my nails are growing. You know, there's so many different things that this does. So it's a patented light technology. It's a little.
So what's on this patch? How does it work?
It's amino acids, sugar, water, and something else. It's 4 components. It's non-transdermal, Neil, which means on this little patch, what it does is you put this patch on your body. We have acupuncture points that you put it on. It's all scientifically tested. And then your light. So if anybody listening, you put your hand on your body, you can feel heat. Your body emits heat and light. You can't see the light unless it's that Kerlan photography at nighttime with those special glasses on.
Well, I can feel heat. I can feel energy channeling.
Heat. So what it is your body's heat hits the middle of that patch, and then it reflects your light back in. So different patches reflect your heat back in a specific frequency to elevate a specific peptide or amino acid. Okay, so X39 is our stem cell reactivation patch. By the time you're 60, you've only got 60%. Sorry, you've only got 10% of your stem cells active, which is what the aging process is all about. So this then puts your own body's heat and light back in as a specific frequency to elevate in the copper peptides or amino acids or whatever the function of that specific patch is. So X39 is stem cell regeneration. That's GHKCU, copper peptide in the body. So that starts to switch on 4,000 dormant stem cells every time you use it. So over time, your stem cells, so, you know, the skin, the knees,
Let's just define stem cells for those that don't know what stem cells mean. They can become anything in the body, can't they? They're undefined.
There are different stem cells, yeah. So you have the rogue stem cells that can become a liver, a skin, an eye, a hair, whatever your body needs. And it's these rogue stem cells that get activated. Okay. And so
rogue.
Yeah, they're the ones that can be anything. Your stem cell can be, okay, she needs her hair is thinning, let's activate the hair.
And are we not getting, I mean, these things that you say are on the patch, things like amino acids, I mean, these also, water, is it because we're not getting it from a healthy lifestyle? If we were all living healthy lifestyle, holistic lifestyles, will we get this stuff anyway, and we were farming properly and all these sorts of things? Or is it?
I think it's double fold. I think it's two now. I think one is a healthy lifestyle is, absolutely beneficial for health, but you won't stop the aging process, because by the time I think it's 30, 50% of your stem cells are dormant. By the time you're 60, 90% of your stem cells are dormant. So your aging process is going to happen no matter what you do, no matter how much water you drink, beautiful organic food that you eat, supplements you might take.
So the trick to defying aging is working with stem cells.
Yes, because you think of a child, the child falls over or breaks its arm or this and that, it's healed within 3 weeks, isn't it?
Yes.
Because of the stem cell activity going on in there.
And it takes longer for an older person. People always use the phrase, they've got youth on their side, don't they? Is that what they mean? Yeah. So if they were being strictly scientific, they would say they've got enough stem cells for it to happen quickly, rather than saying they've got youth on their side. Is that more accurate?
They're saying my body regenerates and recovers and heals itself more quickly. Yeah. And so imagine this, so that we're 60 odd, and now say like you've got your stem cells working like you were a 30-year-old. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they do say, so we have 2 patches that we that I recommend all my clients. It's X39 and Eon. Eon is spelled AEON, and that is the inflammation one. So if we're looking at chronic diseases, so you would have heard people with fibromyalgia, chronic disease, okay, which all stems from inflammation in the body. So when we address the stem cells with the patch that brings down inflammation, we see remarkable changes. I'm not allowed to say that we you know, the disclaimer is, listen, we don't treat or diagnose anything. We just recommend that this
Well,
could
I have heard that before, two quite blanket statements, and I'm always a bit leery of these, but of blanket statements. But I do agree with these two. Number one is that all chronic disease involves some sort of inflammation.
This is
And
it.
number two is that all health and well-being begins in the gut.
Yes. Do you know, all disease stems from the gut, which is really interesting, isn't it? And
Why
so,
is that?
but if we, well, that's where all of your microbiotics are, isn't it? When you think
The
about
microbiome, yeah.
when you think about disease, we're supposed to, we have good bacteria, and also we have bad bacteria, don't we, in the body? And so I don't know, I'm not a macrobiologist, and I'm not going to claim to be. My healing arts and all my qualifications tend to be around energy and emotions and emotional stability. But here's the thing is, when the body becomes imbalanced or unbalanced, and if it's not readdressed, the body's always seeking balance. It's always seeking to balance. But if we're chronically imbalanced, and you've got an emotion or a lifestyle that leads you to be chronically imbalanced, that's going to have an effect on the body, isn't it? The body's
when you put it that way, it can't not. But it's just that we're so. My teacher on Zoom, he says we're all basically dead from the neck down, if you like, and his whole thrust of, he doesn't quite put it like that, but you get the gist. His whole thrust is get back into the body, ground yourself, get out your bloody head, get into your body. I love
your teacher. The thing is, you know, we're being poisoned by toxins in the water, in the air, in the food, you know, and now we've got these foods that aren't even food. I wouldn't call them food, that they're now saying, oh, the GMO crops and what have you. If you think that we're born of the same stuff of the earth, and we're alive, our cells are alive, and that we need to be eating live foods to nourish ourselves, if you like. A lot of people, I think, with the chronic lifestyle of busyness, having to earn, stress, money, worries, and what have you, I think, coming from the energetic background that I have, it is common knowledge that some of my clients, sometimes I think, you're not fully in your body. You're not in your body. And so I would, you know me with the emotion code, I'd run the magnet around the back, down the back of the spine, the governing meridian, and just command that their spirit comes fully back into their body. A lot of diagnosis now would simply be the fact that the energy isn't fully in the body. Yeah. And so you get, it's reported, isn't it? People with out of body experiences, and they shoot up and out, and they have all of these wonderful experiences, and then they come back into the body. I would say a lot of diagnoses are simply the fact that that person isn't grounded in it.
And let's be clear here, if people are contemplating things of a spiritual nature, I think a mistake a lot of people make is they get more out of their body because they kind of want to almost leave the body and be up in the heavenly realms and all that sort of stuff. But my teacher says the opposite. He says the higher you go, it's bilateral. The more grounded you need to be.
Yep. You got to be.
The higher you want to grow spiritually, the more you need to be grounded, the more you need to be connected to the earth, the more you need to be connected in your body. Not the other way around. It's not about leaving this planet. It's about being fully in it, if you like.
It really is.
But not too attached to it.
Well, it's about having your roots, your energy, being energetically connected to the earth, and that's why walking around bare feet on grass, you know, you'd have heard all of these things to ground yourself. And the interesting thing is, on my evolutionary journey, it was all, we went in and we focused on bringing in energy and breathing, and in and out through the dantian or the danjon or the gut area. And it was all about rooting in that then elevated you higher. And so the other stuff is a spiritual bypass, isn't it? Where you're not rooted, you're not grounded. And that could also be avoiding feelings, avoiding situations, avoiding responsibility. But all of this comes back to loving yourself. I think the whole spiritual journey is one of love. You are here to fall back in love with yourself. For the innocent child, the amazing being that you are, and that journey will take you down one of many paths, but the result will be the same, and it's to bring you back to self-love.
I remember a wonderful meditation that my teacher did, and he said, just bring back all your energy, all the disparate parts, all the disowned bits, and give them all a place at the table. Yeah. And then you're not fighting any part of yourself, because a lot of time when we're battling the world, I think what people don't realize is we're battling ourselves.
It's exactly that. And it's you're either okay. So it's really interesting. My mastery of the mind, if you like, or beyond the mind, was when I found mind calm meditation. So I became a coach in that, because that was the only thing that brought peace with mind. Right. And then it was like, so he did an exercise, and your viewers, your guests could do this. It's kind of like, if you just took 30 seconds and you counted every thought, and it would be like, any thought is a thought. Like, I'm not thinking is a thought. Oh my God, what's this? Is a thought. Oh, I've got an itch is a thought.
Yeah, because so not thinking about thinking is still a thought about thinking.
Yes, exactly. Right. And then like, well, what part of you is doing the thinking then? Is counting the thoughts. You are not your thoughts. The main thing, if I could give anybody a bit of wisdom, a bit of information, is you're not your thoughts. Your thoughts will have you running left, right, and center, telling you you're not good enough, giving you stress. You are not your thoughts. And that's what everybody needs to self-actualize within themselves, is realize I'm not my thoughts. And beyond that is your peace. Okay. So that was a whole thing. But going back to the patches and the health, your own light body healing yourself, I see it as a bridge between this and healing by thought alone. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, Neil, heal by thought alone. People have walked in with cancer and walked out without it, with a week's workshop. That's not me saying that. That is Joe Dispenza's work. You'll see it if you just Google his work. And that's where I think we're headed. I think we are coming to a time where pharmaceuticals are not cutting it anymore. It's not about their big dollar, billion-dollar franchise over the world, if you like. This is about each individual learning how to heal your body without the use of drugs. Now, this isn't me saying all drugs and everything. That's really not what I'm saying.
No, there is a place for them, isn't there?
There is. There's a place to have the medical team on hand, and we're very grateful for them when you need surgery, when you've broken an arm, when you need a wound sewn up.
Right, yeah.
But what's happened in today's world is you experience an ailment, you go to a bloke in a white coat and he says, here's the pill for that, with no other possibility of, well, what's going on here? What's created this?
Yeah, again, it's our whole Western paradigm of treating the symptoms
and not
the cause. But what you're talking about is going back to the cause.
Well, it's a non-transdermal patch. So we have lots of different patching protocols that you can put on acupuncture points. But this is a non-transdermal patch, which means nothing, no hormones. So the hormone patches are quite widely known now, aren't they? Nicotine patches are quite widely known.
Yeah.
Well, this is a non-transdermal patch, which means it's your own DNA, your own light source healing you. And I think that's why it's groundbreaking, because there is no substance going into you. Your cells are being stimulated to get back into balance so that they can work properly and do.
Yeah, that's a key nuance, isn't it? It's not something foreign coming in to change your chemistry or whatever like that. It's bespoke to you. I mean, some of the more advanced cancer treatments now, albeit still using chemotherapy, but it's a lot more bespoke now, isn't it, to the person? But this is like this taken up 10 levels, isn't it?
Well, this is you healing at cellular level. So I think that's why it's groundbreaking. Yeah, it's been around for 20 years. So David Schmidt, the guy that invented this technology, he was approached to develop something for the Navy SEALs by the US government to help them, because they were all on narcotics and I don't think that's the right word, you know, uppers and downers, stimulants to keep them awake when they're out on mission. I've just got to plug my phone in.
Sure.
So he developed this for them, and the results were phenomenal. And so all the Navy SEALs were using his products, and that was energy enhancer patches, was the first lot of patches that he developed. And then 9/11 happened, and they pulled the resources, and then you know, a lot of other things. But he then he teamed up with somebody, and then said, "There's something in this." And then it's been his whole life's work. I mean, he's a beautiful man, really cares about the world. An X39, which is the stem cell regeneration patch.
We've got a website. I can stick it on the screen.
Yeah, well, go put on startx39now.com.
Sorry, what's it called? Start.
Yeah, START.
Yeah.
X39now.com.
X39.
Now.com. And that's the research of the stem cell regeneration patch and the scientifically, and look at the before and after photos. And then my personal website is lifewave.com/Anita Wisdom. If they want to look at Lifewave, LIFEWAVE, lifewave.com/Anita Wisdom. That will give more of an overview of all the different patches available. But people can get in touch and reach out and come and have a chat, and if they want to know more, there's always places that I can send them, because I think it's about personal responsibility now, Neil. This is where I think we're at with health, and I think there's more to it than just putting a patch on as well. I think there is the befriending of the emotions as well. It's a bit like saying, here's a wonder drug and this is going to cure you of everything. I don't think that's the case, Neil. I've seen in my own body what these patches do, but also I think as part of this process, now I can't scientifically prove this, you have a growth aspect, because whatever is blocking you, whatever needs changing or healing, comes up to be looked at on a physiological level and an emotional level, and on the level of the mind. So I do think it forces you somehow, this has been my experience over 5 months, to then make the changes that you need to make. If it's lifestyle, if it's a job, if it's anything, I think that you do go through your own process of transformation within this. I don't think it's just a case of, oh, well, I'll whack that patch on and everything in my life will be hunky-dory. That's not the case, hun. You will get these changes, but also you might be called to make some changes as well. Does that make sense?
Very much so. And it's changes probably that deep down that you know you should be making.
Yes.
Really.
So say like you're in an abusive relationship, or say like you're in a job and you're not respected, or you've got a certain pattern of behavior, you might be called to address that, to progress. Does that make sense? And I think they work on that level as well, that's not scientifically proven, but that's just been my experience. And when I talk to work colleagues that are in the business, and I'm like, I think they work on this other level as well, and they're saying, so do I. So I think we've got something really, really special here, and it's worth having a look at. It's worth having a look at, because we have frequencies that can help. We have a lot of what are they, pulsed magnetic frequency devices. They work as well. I'm just going to let my cat in. Is that okay to kind of like move around? Because I'm on my phone.
As long as we can see your cat on screen, please.
All right, she's adorable. Come on then. She likes to be right.
What's her name?
Misty Moo. Her name's Misty Rose. Oh God.
Hello, Misty Moo.
How do I change my camera around? You can hear her, can't you?
I can hear her.
I'll have to put my camera here and pick her up. So she wants to be included as well, Neil. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, Misty. So, you know, I think
Liz is going to love this if she's watching. Oh, look at you.
This is Misty Moo.
She's beautiful.
I know. She's a darling. So I don't know if you can see her because I'm just on my phone.
I can see her very clearly. She's big, fluffy, and lovely.
Yeah, big,
like me.
white, and fluffy. Persian chinchilla ragdoll cross. Aren't you?
Wow, that's
very
quite a mix.
vocal. Very, very vocal, but very beautiful. Come on. And
do you think, got an interesting question for you, just a hypothetical one.
Yeah.
Do you think patches like this would work on animals as well?
Oh, they do. So what we're the life. So there's a protocol with the patches: 12 hours on, 12 hours off. There's about 14 to 16 hours of activity in that organic substance that's activated by heat. So you take it off of you and you put it on your animal. I saw a video once. This is why I have to do this work, because I just can't not. So the vet said to the owners of the dog, there's no hope. Your dog will need to be put down. Just got to plug my phone in. And then somebody gave this dog owner the patches, and within 3 days, that dog's running around the garden like brand new. And I was just like, this blows my mind. So it's watching things like this and doing all the study and reading the books, because I'm really interested in health and this field. So I will do the study. I will do the due diligence. I won't just believe something willy-nilly, and I will try it out.
No, you don't. I've known you for many a year, and
yeah, it's not.
You've never recommended rubbish at all. Far from it. Quite the opposite.
It's not a gimmick. But to see that has you in tears, or when you hear the testimonials of people's lives and their symptoms reversing, it opens my heart. It moves me, because I care, I guess. Do you know? And if you really care about people and you're in the healing arts, then that's a great combination.
Very much so. Kind of a prerequisite, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Comments from anyone listening, by the way. If you've got a question for Anita, I'm sure she'll be very happy to answer it. I knew I'd come down on the believing Mulder side. I knew I would. I think there's something in this. I definitely think there's something in this.
It's scientifically backed, Neil. So on that Start X39 Now site, startx39now.com, you will see the science. It's not willy-nilly. You have to have science. It has to be science backed, I think, to be made available. And it is. And we
live in exciting times now where science can measure things that we never could before, like mindfulness. I mean, Oxford University got into mindfulness, and suddenly we can now measure and show, thanks to neuroscience, show that there are physical brain changes after 6 weeks of simple mindfulness practice, for example. We can measure things and see things that we never did before. And it's really exciting in many ways, isn't it?
One of my business colleagues, she's 50 and she's had all the blood works done. And she's 50 this year, and her biological age is 26.
Wow.
Something. And she's got it there. She's got it there because of the blood works. Now I'm happy to just think, okay, I haven't got that anymore. And so you have these little niggling things as you get older. And I think I'm quite a healthy, pushing 60-year-old, but you have these niggling things. And then when they start to disappear, you're like, the proof.
And disappear without effort as well.
Well, yeah, drinking water and putting a patch on. And so you have to up your water intake. That is a given. We do promote it as part of a healthy lifestyle. It won't do you any good if you're eating McDonald's every night and you're just whacking a patch on and you don't drink water. You're not going to get the benefits that you could be getting.
No, that's a bit like eating loads of sweets and then popping a metformin, isn't it? It's not the best way of going about things.
No, so, your body's not going to be the optimum. But my goodness, we've got these other patches and they build muscle. So one of the things I wanted to share with you is every 8 weeks of using the stem cell patch, and this is scientifically proven, your cardiovascular system is 6.5 weeks younger, scientifically proven. So, and I think it could even be the other way around, but I don't want to promise something. I'm like, I'm not a good fact, memory kind of a person. I'm more, this is my experience. And so I'm going to share that with you. But That really intrigued me, because with all the cardiovascular issues, this is your heart we're talking about here. If you are decreasing that, so every 8 weeks that you use these patches, that is scientifically proven that your cardiovascular system performs younger as you're getting older. Mind blowing to me. Mind blowing. You know,
It sounds like a bit Deepak Chopra-esque.
does it?
A little bit. In the sense that when he was talking about how illnesses, he was saying if the body regenerates itself and new cells come, and we know they do, then how does the illness get passed down? And he used the term phantom memory, as only Deepak could. I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Just,
you know, I read something here. I read something ages ago, and I thought, God, that's an interesting thought. And they're saying menopause. Now, I didn't have any symptoms or anything, so I didn't experience what a lot of other ladies.
Lucky you.
But they say, and I thought, they said that that's just a program, a mind program that you buy into and you create. So it's like, whoa. I don't think this aging thing that we all buy as real, I don't think it needs to be so. I think it's entirely possible to die healthy. We are going to die. Everybody's going to die. You're not meant to be here for hundreds and hundreds of years, I don't believe. But you don't have to die ill, and you do not have to die incapacitated. That is what I actually believe.
Yeah, and at stretch, why not? I mean,
yeah. So that
just because most of the world believes that, which is probably why most of the world experiences it. But as this new information comes through, perhaps that'll change what people believe, and then consequently what people experience.
Well, technology is here. It's here, and so if you saw a picture of David Schmidt and his age defies him, you'd look at him and think, no way. And I can't even remember how old he is, but you're just like, no way. The proof of the pudding's in the eating, i.e. you don't know something until you've embodied it. So you've got to get these patches on your body and experience your own experience to know that they work for you. There's no other way. And it's the same thing. You'll only know that when you experience it. And the proof of the pudding's in the eating. So it's like you said, the grounding and being in the body. It's the same thing with this. It needs to be on the body for you to experience what it does, even though there's nothing going in your body. It needs to be on your body. And if we didn't need the physical body, we'd be all spirits floating around, wouldn't we? So it is important to be embodied, because that's what gives us the experience in life.
Yes, and I think some spiritual traditions have been a bit guilty of almost shaming the body and or making it lower or not the high bit of us, not the ascended bit of us and all that sort of stuff. And that's really not true. It needs to be as important, doesn't it?
Because
in fact, the very foundation.
Yeah, because you can only experience the higher elevation through the body. It is all through the body. And, so you have to be embodied. Otherwise, we wouldn't need to be born into a body, would we? But no. I think a lot of us are so disassociated from our bodies. We don't value them, and we're not connected to them. Like you're saying, most people, your teacher was saying, most people are dead from. What he really means is that they don't have body awareness.
He means they're up in their heads all the time and therefore don't have body awareness. But before we start any of the calls, he will do a grounding meditation. Yeah. And we're like kind of children, oh, do we have to? And then, of course, he says, right, does that feel better? And we're like, yeah, it's all right. you know.
I love that.
Grounding, that's so boring, but kind of necessary. So websites where people can look, there's the one on the screen, startx39now.com. And I did, and you told me this one, lifeway.com/Anita Wisdom.
Yeah, that's my personal website. And then I'm just.
And you have another one. You have this one as well, don't you? Awakenwithanita.com.
Yeah, I've really got to do some work on that. So yeah, my other website that's got my modalities is awakenwithanita.com. So people can get in touch. Let me just see if there's anything else that I need.
And I recommend you do. The conversations we've had, I'll just spare your blushes, but Anita is a fascinating woman. You've really got, and so good at what you do. I remember I've said that to you before. You are so authentic and natural, and frankly good at what you do. So you come with a thorough endorsement from me.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
and I'm the believing Mulder. I don't think it's new age nonsense. I think you're onto something here,
No,
personally.
it's scientifically backed, on, and I think more and more people in the UK. I mean, these patches have been out for 20 years, but
Why have you not heard of them before?
Well, that's really interesting, isn't it? The stem cell one is about 4 years. Okay, and then we've got, so that's the X39, and then we've got another product called X49 that's only been out a year. So I think what I mean, my spiritual aspect side would just say, because it's time. The time is now. We've got the X39, we've got the stem cell regeneration. It offsets a lot of the stuff that we're being bombarded with every day. X49 gives you the EMF protection, like every cell, like a Faraday cage.
Electromagnetic frequencies.
Yeah. And that's what drew me to start using them. I was like, oh, I need that. So and so I think it's a product whose time has come now. And I think that's probably why I've been drawn to it. And I really am guided to it. It's like I trust what I'm guided to. And I really was guided to this.
Are you busy at the moment? Lots of clients?
Yeah, I'm building up my clients because I moved back down. I moved up north and came back down south because I missed it. So I'm building up my clients now. And I'm starting to share testimonials on Facebook because my clients are just saying such lovely things. And I'm doing psychic readings as well, like energy readings and releasing and being my, what I'm being put on the planet to do.
Are you still into access consciousness, podding and pocking and all that?
I don't do it so much, purely because they just wanted so much money to requalify. Yeah. I don't need to requalify. I've got the skills. I don't believe just having to pay out for something that you don't need. And so I've still got the skills, and I do my own thing now. Yeah. So more organic, more me.
And that's all the better because that just feels exactly right for you. And I suppose we always talk about on this show about mental health, being true to yourself, putting yourself first, the concept of smart selfishness by putting your own oxygen mask on first, so to speak. And all these wonderful things. And are you having fun with it all? Looks like you are.
Yes. Yeah. And I love chatting. I can't believe how quickly this time has gone, Neil. Oh my God. Yeah. So and the main thing is that you've got to have fun and enjoy what you're doing in life. And if you're not, how can you change that? And a lot of it is our attitudes. The other thing I wanted to say that not a lot of people are aware of, Neil, is for the sensitives amongst us, and that could be women or men, you could be picking up on everybody else's energy around you and not even know it's yours. And so when I was getting up this morning, I thought, what three words of wisdom or little tools or pointers can I give people? And one of them was, when you're picking up or you wake up and you feel a bit naff, for want of a better word, or you start to get stressed, just ask yourself, is this mine? Is this mine?
Just plug in my computer in case you're wondering what I'm doing. So ask yourself, so you're saying you could have easily taken on someone else's
energies and thoughts, because there's this thoughts are invisible, but they go out as an electrical impulse, as an energetic impulse. So number one is this mine? God, what were the other things? The second one was, what else could I think about that would make me feel good right now? And the third thing was, all mental health is resisting the moment. So what am I resisting in this moment, and what can I have gratitude for instead?
Let's just go through those again, because that was really nice. So number one, is this mine? So you're basically saying you've taken on someone else's energy, and I know what you mean by that. Does it belong to me? Because we don't need to take other people's energy on, do we? Good or bad. Number two, what can I think about that make me feel better? And notice, by the way, Anita didn't say, how can I fight against what I'm thinking about? She said the complete opposite. What else can I think about which will make me feel better? So it's not fighting against what you do want. It's the opposite of focusing. Sorry, it's not fighting against what you don't want. It's the opposite and focusing on what you do, right?
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is gratitude. So if we have any, and we do, you know, we're human, and we're in this we're in this life, and so we will resist things as a natural course. But the thing is notice that you're resisting something. Oh, what can I be grateful for right now? In this 10 seconds. And we can be grateful for the cup of coffee, this podcast, our friends, our loved ones, our cats, our dogs, whatever. Shift your
just little
energy.
things in the mundane. My teacher said last night, he calls it micro appreciation. And he says we've all been trained that, you know, it's the big things, it's the cruises and all that sort of stuff, and nothing wrong with those, but it doesn't mean that you can't find just as much joy in the cup of coffee, in that beautiful cat of yours. You know,
and that gratitude is your saving grace. Gratitude is your saving grace.
Yeah, I like that.
Honestly.
That's a lovely takeaway for us today. Gratitude is our saving grace. We've lady called Julie who's listening and watching. She's absolutely intrigued by what you're saying, so you might be getting a phone call from her. We must catch up. You must come for another bite to eat, and I'll show you my decks again.
I look forward to it. All right, continue your good work in the world, Neil.
And you too, Anita. Thank you so much for being on, and lots of love. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What an amazing lady. I told you. So, do you believe it? Or was that complete new age bunkum to you? What do you think? I believe it. I actually do. I think we're on the verge of some very, very exciting breakthroughs, things that we'd see in science fiction shows, but even some of the things in Star Trek that we saw back in the 70s, if you were a Trekkie, have become real now. So and evolution doesn't stop, does it? So why not? Why not? Thoughts. Food for thought. Food for thought. That's what I'm trying to say. I think we've got another comment on, so let's do that one before we go. Is that a version of your etchings? Oh, for goodness sake, Graham. Russ Kane will be here with Phil Dave on Friday with Chantal Ricard's Screen Queen with all the recommendations to watch. And I'll see you Monday with Russ. And then with another fantastic guest next Wednesday. But in the meantime, to my guest today, the incredible Anita Wisdom, one of my favourite people in the world. I really appreciate you being on, Anita. And we must catch up soon. Indeed, as we must, for viewers and listeners to this show. And if you're watching this on the replay, want to reach out to me on Facebook or one of the socials, and I will do my darndest to answer you. Either that, or I'll see you on a computer screen soon. You take care. Have a fantastic day, and catch Russ and Co on Friday. Take care. Good afternoon.